Imagine you just woke up from a long, lovely slumber nestled deep in Fabi's throat, and you said to your friend, "Whoa, what's going on? What did I miss? Is Vishy not world champion anymore? You'd been down 10 years. No, says your friend, it's this guy, Mangrove Carlsbad. He's been world number one for like 10 years, and he's the greatest of all time." And you said, "What? How? Why?" And your friend said, "I'm going to show you. A little gem like this, played in Titillating Tuesday, just now in August, mid-August, and it's just classic, vintage Magnus. Like a fine wine, sit back and enjoy this delicacy. We get prawn to sea ships from his opponent, Rodrigo Schroeder, and now in response, Magnus develops his pony, softly nickering as he does so, and his opponent fights for the centre here. This is online blitz chess. The clock times are on the left. They get a little bit of time back per move, like 1 second I think, or 2 seconds, I forget. I think 1 second. And now Magnus here plays pawn to d3, and his hand's kind of shaking at this point because he knows what's coming. Black captures, he allows the recapture, and the ladies leave the board already. Magnus Carlsen, the king of the endgame, or is this a queenless middle game? No one really knows. It's driven many a chess player insane. This is where Magnus absolutely thrives. We get bishop g4. Magnus doesn't want to find out if the pawn structure is going to be shattered. Now we see knight d7, and Magnus, in a weird turn of play, completely forgets which way his pieces are supposed to move. Backpedaling away, now we see the bishops leave the board, king recaptures, and Schroeder develops the second knight. He's got his tail up here. He's really whinnying away and neighing hard. We see f3 on the board to cover the centre, and now he builds a banana hammock. Prepares to tuck this bishop into bed after Magnus hits the most explosive square, c4. That one hits the chocolate slide. Now we see bishop e3, and I've got to show you this line that Stockadile finds. There's this crazy move, knight d5, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Some of the moves the engine finds. You can capture, but after pawn recaptures, you're kicking away the defender of the b2 pawn. So you have to do this, and it's a nice structure for black. Roughly level, but a decent structure. Crazy lines, but not played, of course. b6 on the board. This is human chess. Now we see this move of a4, and Magnus ploughing down the board there is going after that weakened structure. But what does Schroeder do? He just calmly castles queenside, says come at me bro, leans back. We see knight b to d2, Magnus gets his bits out, connects those rooks, the knight now starts manoeuvring, opens the bishop, so the c pawn advances, blunts it out, and now knight c7, knight b3, the horseplay continues. Magnus may be headed for d4, so this c pawn advances, covers the d4 square, and Magnus just carries on, taking that tin opener to the black queen side, and king b7 therefore played. You don't want to go b5. Critically weaken this c5 pawn, so the structure maintained. Now we see the cannon centralizing, blasting down the board. The knight does the same. You can't beat active pieces. These ones now go into the blender, 2 sets leaving the board, and Magnus cracks on with the advance of the f pawn, but it just gets better. After the Archbishop of Banterbury slides back home, Magnus takes more space with his trio of dragons flying down the board. Sadly, Daenerys has left that board there, but the monarch's guiding them on. We see knight b5 looking to activate. Magnus now goes knight d2, rook h8 played, and fair play to Schroeder here, the Chilean grandmaster, bit of a blitz expert, because not only is he keeping touch on the board here, but he's keeping touch on the clock as well. Knight f3 played, h5, the plan is revealed. Now this pawn advances here, knight d6 played, spinning around, and e5 looks a bit nasty to give up f5, but then you do kill the bishop. It's a different way to play, but Magnus doesn't like it. He backpedals once more. Has he forgotten which way he's moving? No, he covers his center. Rook d8 played, and king f3, supporting those pawns. Magnus with the space, the final frontier, just putting the pressure on his opponent here. Now rook d7 played, h4 on the board, sets up the old bayonet pawn formation. Be careful not to touch the pointy end. e6 played, and now you should never leave rookie in the corner. So what does Magnus do? picks it up, and he's like, do you even rook lift, bro? Brings that one in, lightweight, nothing but a peanut, and Schroeder gets out the old pogo stick. Starts with rook d8. Many top grandmasters actually practice with their pogo stick at home to visualize such situations as this, where you just pogo stick back and forth with your rook. It's a very common skill that they have to train, but the position is now transforming a bit because knight g3 on the way and Magnus is looking to push p. We get rook d7, pogo sticking back once more, and now with that last move there is an option to go rook a8, invade with the rook, but it's missed. Magnus instead pushes with f5. They're low on time. He carries on with the plan, and a great move by Schroeder. He escapes from Alcatraz just before you prepare to shut him in. Magnus correctly intercepts with the bishop. I mean, look at the pawn structure. It's closed, it's cagey. Knights do well there. Plus, this is blitz chess. Knights are very tricky. Won't finish that sentence. The bishop now takes on f4. King recaptures, and now we see e takes. Pawn recaptures, and more really great chess. No knee-jerk reaction, just rook e7. Staying on the 7th invasion square, hitting the open e-file. Fair play to Schroeder, quality chess. Magnus invades, rook e1, and the position is just absolutely dead level. White with some pressure, but this is nothing but a draw with best play, according to Stock Barnacle. The pawn now covered. Magnus goes b3, b5, king f3, b4. Now this one kicks on here to the most explosive square, and black just waiting with the king. And this is really the moment of magic. This is what Magnus Carlsen has made a career on. He takes positions like this, the evaluation bar dead set in the middle, and he turns it in his favour. Watch a master at work. He's just probing away, picking up some time on the clock. Black doing everything correctly here. King c6, rook h6, and now he just turns it a bit weird because knight f7's played, hits the rook. Does Magnus move it? No. He invades with the king, just recognizing in these split seconds that black cannot take that rook. You create this passed pawn, and the rook just cannot stop it, in combination with the king coming to g5, picking up this one, and the knife hits f5 and everything. It's crazy. It's amazing endgame play. So king d6, correctly played. Magnus probes some more. The knight saves itself here. Check. The king backpedaling. Knight f2. Magnus just maneuvering. They're down to a scramble, but Schroeder has more time. King d6 back. Rook g7. Rook e8. Knight e4 check. King c6, and the blunder. It's on the way. You know it's coming. The black rook is hit. Saves itself. King g3. Incredible that Schroeder hasn't yet cracked. But the moment has arrived. Move 57. We're into the Magnus magic. King d6 is played. King b6 was the move to do, because now you can go rook a7 and there's no king b6 to stop this check here. And the problem with these black pieces is they're hugely congested. You need a hot toddy to really help them out. They can't get anywhere, they're on top of each other, and one of the best ways to go is sack a knight to get a pawn running. Amazingly, it's that bad now, but instead we see knight c6, and it allows Magnus Carlsen to checkmate in two. But this move not played. We've gone to the back cave. Analysis mode. Magnus misses it. This was the mate in two. Instead, he swings back with the rook. We're back to dead level. He got the error. He got the blunder, but didn't capitalise. However, he's still probing away. The rook now invades. It ran out of squares. It couldn't stay on the 6th rank and not get taken. This pawn therefore going to drop, but so does b3. Again, Schroeder's done everything correctly for the second chance, but now after king d7, knight e6, he finally cracks for the real, final, last, ultimate time, because he should play something like this, go after this pawn, but he doesn't. He goes knight e5, hits Magnus's rook, and now he runs into knight c5 check. The king is cut, so it can't get near the knight. And if you step this way, let's say, well, now the rook can check, the king goes away, and this rook drops here. This is the problem when Magnus went to Forktown. Population Schroeder. So what do we see? King e7. Now if you check, you can counterattack the rook, but there's a new problem with stepping to the e-file. Magnus finds it, shuts that trap, supported by the knight. Loved the way the knight and rook work together at times, you know, Arabian checkmate. checkmates, things of that nature, and he has won a clean piece. How the hell does he do it? Takes the level endgame once again, turns it into a better position for him. Black is still fighting very valiantly. I'm really impressed with this guy, I have to say. Only 2878. He plays this game like a 3200, but eventually Magnus gets the g-pawn running, the rook comes to stop, and here's the icing on the cake. Because after the knight is attacked, if it moves, the pawn is dropping. What does Magnus do? The tactical finesse. There's a few wins here, you know, you could play something like rook g3. Well, he goes for a nice one. He makes the queen anyway, because if you capture with check, well fine, you're just a queen ahead. And if you take the queen, played in the game, now you go to fork Vegas, and here we do see resignation. The rook's about to drop, then the king marches in, rounds up the pawn, and you deliver rook and king checkmate. I think Magnus knows how to do that one as world number one. I hope you enjoyed. Smash subscribe if you did, and for another epic game of chess, check out the video on screen. Cheers.